Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to Primetime Local News. Hope you all had a great weekend. We are talking Twitter and politics on the show today. Obviously, we all know Trump is the king of Twitter, if you will, especially when it comes to making personal attacks. So that's our question of the day. Should you be allowed to be making these types of personal attacks on any social media platform if you're a political leader of some sort or just involved in politics? It was interesting because over the weekend, Kim Campbell, former Prime Minister of Canada, tweeted out that Trump is a mother, and then you can complete the sentence.
Fill in the blank.
She did delete the tweet, but it just kind of sparked the conversation, like should they be allowed to say this? And then she also maybe made a stripper comment.
Oh,
yeah, so said that if she were a stripper, she would be expensive.
So
let us know, should
then.
political leaders be allowed to say this stuff on Twitter? We want to know your thoughts. Weigh in on our Facebook or our Twitter page. Let us know. But first, we're going to go check in with our Brett Holden.
I'm here at the Synergy Credit Union, where today I'm going to be talking to a specialist, just talking a little bit about planning for the next year with the holiday season just come and gone. Maybe saving up from those budget hits that you took during the holidays, and a little bit more on saving for the new year. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at the Synergy Credit Union, but let's head back into the studio where Elise has a look at your local news.
Great, thank you, Brett. Well, we start tonight's cast off with 4 arrests that have been made in the border city. On January 5th, Lloydminster RCMP attempted a traffic stop for a stolen white truck at 25th Street and 50th Ave. The vehicle fled northbound on 50th Street, and police did not initiate a pursuit due to public safety. Police later struck the vehicle on the passenger side near Township Road 510, where 4 occupants were arrested without incident. 22-year-old Robert Lee Plowder of Lloydminster remains in custody and is facing 5 charges, including assault of a peace officer with a weapon and causing bodily harm by criminal negligence. Cashin Lee Sandfly from Onion Lake is facing multiple charges, including resisting arrest, and both will be appearing at Lloydminster Court January 8th. Lorraine Destiny Violet Cook of Onion Lake was also arrested and charged, and with the 4th occupant being released with no charges. 1 occupant from the truck and a police officer were treated for minor injuries. And this week, the Lloydminster Rotary Club got some insight into what the Residents in Recovery Society is all about. The programming in society offers life skills, pre- and post-treatment, sober living, and daily addiction programs. Loren says since the opening, there have been many people coming through seeking help.
We've had a lot of individuals and families come through and seeking support. So, our house has been full from month 1, and continues to, our waiting list continues to grow. So, it's been very busy.
While the program is funded through donations, the health foundations and some government funding for the program would be the goal for 2019.
To see, provincially or, even municipally, governments, fund programs such as this, not just the detox and the treatment aspect. There's a huge piece in the middle that, really needs support as well to maintain that continuum of care.
The program has helped 62 individuals since their opening in September. And the Lloydminster Public Library is not the only place where you can just take out books, and in this week's retrospect, I take a look at the programs they provide for kids.
The program is a great environment for toddlers to have fun and explore.
There is a story, several stories actually, finger plays, mini Olympics, and a craft.
The theme of this story time is Podium Pals, based around the upcoming Olympics, running every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 10:30 for children aged 2 to 5, free of charge.
It's an ongoing program, free of charge, and we welcome everybody who is new in town to come and visit us.
What's that?
That's
He's skating on the gun.
He's kidding. Yep, he's skating there.
Every 6 weeks, they start a new theme. Some upcoming themes are countries around the world, transportation, water, and, in the summertime, jungle.
It's all in the spirit of friendship, of course. I explained to them that there's no winners. We're all playing along, and the important thing, of course, in the games is to participate. So January 27th, we're doing a family literacy event. We are welcoming all children of all ages to come in their PJs with their favorite blankie and teddy bear, and we'll be reading stories to them with their families as well.
Flash forward 9 years, and Storytime is still a popular program that is provided through the library, but other programs have been added as well.
Our preschool Storytime happens once a week on Thursday mornings, and it's a combination of they hear a story read, they might do a sing-song, and one of the things we do is a very simple craft to get children into the idea of manipulating things instead of just swiping on a device.
Ron says because technology is a major component of everyday life, it is important for kids to have the proper basic skills so they can use that technology effectively.
That's why we've been moving quietly into other things like our Lego collection, where children of all ages can create and imagine and build some physical skills, build some imagination skills, and help to reinforce some of their science and other learning that they're picking up in early grades, and have fun while they're doing it.
If you're interested in having your child in any of the programs, head to Lloydminster Public Library's website for more information. That's it for this week's Retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
And now we're going to go to Brett Holden, who is at Synergy Credit Union.
Joined by Christy Miazga now here at Synergy Credit Union. Now, Christy, the time of year spending and giving has gone and passed. What are maybe some ways that people can start budgeting for the new year and start saving after a big, I guess, kind of punch in the gut there for spending?
Yeah, that's a great question. I always like to say January is kind of a reality check month for all of us, I think, following the holiday season. The credit card bills start coming in, and maybe your bank statements, you're following up a little bit more with your online banking, and you realize that maybe you spent a little bit more than you originally had planned, and things are a little bit tighter than what you had expected. So I think what the biggest advice I can give is to start early, start now. We're still really coming out of the first week of January, and kind of get a handle on what those maybe credit card bills are and how much money you actually do have to allocate to paying back those credit card balances, especially focusing on with the ones with the highest interest rates on them. And then you can also start putting away a little bit of money if you've got extra savings left over after all of your bills are paid and you've started allotting for your credit cards. Putting away an extra $25 to $50 a paycheck goes a long way in a pretty quick time.
And we'll have a little bit more coming up from here at the Synergy Credit Union. We're going to be talking a little bit about just saving up from the holiday season. Let's head back into the studio where Michaela has a look at your weather.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. We are into a cold snap, unfortunately, but good news is it won't be lasting too long. Sitting at minus 16 here in the border city, currently feeling like minus 26 out there, and we are going to be seeing some strong wind gusts up to 50 this evening, and then continuing into the next few days here. Looking to our satellite radar, saw a couple of patches of precipitation on and off throughout the area today. Earlier today, we only have about a 20% chance we could see more of that snowfall later this evening, but shouldn't really affect us. There is a blowing snow advisory as we move into Saskatchewan, so Macklin, North Battleford, and Maidstone. Lloydminster just on the cusp there, so do be cautious if you are hitting out on the roads today, and it is going to be quite windy. Numbers quite cold across the region. Minus 15 in Edmonton, minus 13 in Red Deer right now, minus 11 in Rocky Mountain House, minus 18 in White Court, minus 16 in Athabasca, minus 14 for Prince Albert, also in Melfort, minus 13 in Saskatoon, and then up in Meadow Lake sitting at minus 14. As we look to the broadcast region, sitting at minus 15 in North Battleford, there is a risk of some frostbite this evening, possibly into the early morning as well. It is going to feel quite cool once you factor in that wind chill, so minus 19 overnight, and then tomorrow mix of sun and cloud with a high of 17. Cold Lake, again, that risk of frostbite is also in that area as well. Minus 16 currently, minus 21 overnight, and that is before the wind. Going to feel like minus 30 in the morning. Minus 17 is the daytime high tomorrow. Lloydminster, minus 20 overnight. overnight. Those clouds are going to start to dissipate, and then tomorrow a cool -18, going to feel like -33 in the morning. -20 is the overnight low. -13 on Wednesday, and we could see another 1 to 3 centimeters of snow. -25 for the low there, and then Thursday -12, -15. But we do have a bit of a warming trend coming up. I'll have those details coming up a little bit later.
Welcome back. Well, the price of oil, the political climate, and then the weak dollar. Gerard Lampo chats with a market analyst who says a weak dollar is not necessarily a bad thing.
75 cents is not a bad spot. You know, if we started going to 80 cents, we would start to see that impact Canadian cattle prices. So we would see our cattle prices would be negatively impacted by an 80-cent dollar.
Calgary-based analyst Brian Perea says 2018 was a fairly good year for the markets. He says prices were generally flat throughout the calendar year with less volatility.
A year ago, we were looking at more beef production, more meat production in general, which all came to fruition. But prices for the most part were pretty stable. Actually, if you look at calves, they're probably averaging in the over the entire year near $2.20, $2.25 a pound. So even through the fall run, calf prices still, for the most part, stayed over $2 a pound.
On finished animals, he saw those prices range from $1.40 to $1.65 a pound. He compares this to the summer low of 2016, which went down to $1.32.
So, the summer lows, were 10 cents a pound higher than 2016. So that was a positive sign, despite having, we processed 7% more cattle in Canada, and the prices were better.
The grain side and canola remain under pressure with the U.S.-China trade battle, with soybeans as the backdrop.
Soybeans really got hammered in the United States, so, that definitely impacted our canola market here. Just going to have more oil seeds, more soybean. Big carryover of soybeans in the United States.
Canola is still over $10, averaging about $10 to $10.50. Perea sees opportunities for canola growers to lock in at about $11 for the summer. On the feed side, barley is still riding high. The price of corn is ticking up, with the Canadian dollar showing weakness below 80 cents.
Barley prices have been quite strong. So for guys who grew barley, they're seeing barley prices in the Lethbridge, over $5.50 a bushel, which is quite high. So it's not bad for guys selling barley, but for the guys feeding barley, and which impacts cattle prices and stuff, those barley prices are getting pretty high.
There's concern on the pork side as China continues to battle with swine fever, and with the South American crop nearing harvest, concern remains on grain and oil seeds.
If some of these trade issues continue, or we see some global, and I guess back to demand again, if we do start to see China slow down, or the U.S., all these stock markets have been so volatile.
Gerard Lampo, Primetime Local News.
That's it for your egg news. Sports is next, but first we'll take a look at your egg prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Joined once again by Christy Miazga. Christy, let's talk about the most common mistakes people make for saving after the new year, heading into the new year, I guess, and after the holiday season. And what are maybe some ways that we can combat those mistakes as well?
Yeah, a couple of mistakes. I think probably the first one I could touch on is understanding your credit card statement when it comes. So if you're utilizing your credit card, and if you're not used to paying off your entire balance every month, there actually is a minimum payment due. So if you owe, say, $100 on that that credit card statement, your minimum payment would be $10. So sometimes the misconceptions are that, oh, it's just $100, and if that payment's due on January 15th, like I'll pay it off at the end of the month. But actually it can detrimentally affect your credit rating if you don't make that minimum payment to stay on top of it. So I would just, I would advise to, take a look at them, make sure you read them and understand them, and keep on top of the minimum payments for the credit cards.
And also just seeing for those payments as well, piling up is something that a lot of people see. What are some ways that, I guess you kind of touched on that as well, but just to make sure that you are staying on top of things?
Yeah, the payments can pile up and it can become very overwhelming. And then I think, people sometimes become hesitant, or they actually feel a little bit ashamed because they don't know themselves how to get out of that hole, or to dig themselves out of the trench that maybe just came on really quickly. So what I would suggest is getting to your financial institution and asking to speak to your advisor. They can walk you through, whether it's your loan officer or an account manager or an account member service officer. They can walk you through and really help you kind of understand what your situation is and give you some advice on how to get you back on the right track quickly. So.
Perfect. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at the Synergy Credit Union, but let's head back into studio where Michaela has a look at your weather.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. Starting it off with this gorgeous shot from Bud Miller Park that was sent to us by Eliza. Thank you so much for sending that one in. A little bit cold to be taking a walk in the park today. Look at the numbers across the region. Sitting at -16 here in the border city, but feels like -26 out there. Going to be even cooler tomorrow. -15 in Vermilion, also in Vegreville. Same number in Edmonton. Then as we move up the map, a little bit cooler. -16 in St. Paul, -15 in Marwayne, Cold Lake, Bonnyville, or -16 for Cold Lake, -15 in Bonnyville. All of these areas do have a risk for frostbite this evening, possibly into the morning hours, and then possibly continuing into tomorrow evening, so we'll keep our eye on that. Do bundle up, plug in those vehicles. -15 in Macklin, also in North Battleford, and then sitting at -14 in St. Walburg. As we move up north, -17 in Buffalo Narrows, also in La Loche, a little bit warmer at -14 in La Ronge. Sitting at -19 in Fort McMurray, -19 also in Grand Prairie, and then a little bit cooler at -20 in Peace River. Down south, now these numbers are much, much nicer in the grand scheme of things. So -8 in Calgary currently, -16 in Coronation, -7 in Medicine Hat, -8 in Lethbridge. And then as we move on to the Saskatchewan side, sitting at -10 in the Queen City and -9 in Moose Jaw. As we look to our numbers tomorrow, -18 is our daytime high. We're going to start the morning off at -33 with that wind chill. So it is going to be a very cool start there. -18 also in Maidstone, -17 tomorrow for North Battleford, -16 in Macklin, -17 in Provost, -19 for Marwayne, -18 in St. Paul. And then as we move up the map, Bonnyville, Cold Lake going to be sitting at -17. 20% chance we could see some more flurry activity later this evening, but Wednesday is when we are going to see some more snowfall. So tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., when the kids head off to school, -20. Like I said, it's going to feel more like that -30 range, though it is going to get quite cool. The sunshine will be out, though. -20 over the recess hour, -18 over lunch, and then -20 when you head home. So we do have a bit of a cold snap until the weekend. It is going to warm up for the weekend. Wednesday, we have a 50% chance we could see another 1 to 3 centimeters of snowfall. -13, -25 for the overnight low, which is the coolest number we do have on our 7-day trend. Thursday, -12, a little bit warmer at -11 on Friday, -16 for the overnight low there. And then we get into those single digits and we're really warming up. So -2 on Saturday, Sunday, -3, plenty of sunshine, and then -3 next Monday to round it all off. All right, well, over the weekend, a couple of politicians took to Twitter. What an American politician ended up calling Donald Trump a mother effer, as we obviously cannot say here on the TV. But then Kim Campbell then said, yeah, he is one. So that kind of sparked our question of the day. Should political figures be allowed to make these personal attacks on Twitter? It's a hard question because there's a freedom of speech and then there's what do you think?
I don't know. It's tough because, like, if you're in the spotlight, you're gonna, like, you kind of have to be as respectful as possible. But at the end of the day, it's your job, right? So if you choose to act that way, but It just maybe will reflect badly later.
Yeah, and that's actually what Alicia said. She goes, no, it's unprofessional and it will reflect badly on them later. So it does do that. Daniel says absolutely not. They should not be allowed. And then some other people are saying allowed, of course, because there is freedom of speech. Advisable. Probably not.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Definitely an interesting conversation. Keep weighing in on our social media platforms. We could read your comment here on the show. But right now we're going to get to our pets of the day because it's our favorite part. This is Nightshade, a nice close-up of Nightshade.
Very close up.
Yeah, that was sent to us by Carrie. Look at those glowing eyes. This is a couple of bunny. This is Sudoku,
yeah.
Woo, I can't talk. And Finnegan. Look at them out there for a little fall photo shoot. Very cute. This is Fletcher.
Aww.
And Desiree said he was contemplating life in this photo. So yeah, good for you, Fletcher. Hope you found what you were looking for. And next up we have Rex. Look how happy Rex is.
His ears are so cute.
He's so cute. I love that. That was sent to us by Amanda. And then look at this one. This is Izzy. Can't see her face, but beautiful inside of your mouth, Izzy. That was sent to us by Lisa. If you have a pet you would like to see here on Primetime Local News, send us a photo. Just please include your pet's name. And if they are shown on the show, you'll be entered to win a $50 gift card to the Lloydminster Pet Pad.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
We are joined today by the Director of Education from the Lloydminster Catholic School Division, Nigel McCarthy. Thank you so much for joining us. And 2019 is such an exciting year for you guys because it's the 60th anniversary celebration. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, for us, it's really just a celebration of 60 years of success here in Lloydminster and of what our students have been able to accomplish.
That's a long time, though, for any institution to continue going. You must have a lot of plans that you're going to do to celebrate the whole event.
Well, I think when we look back at it, it's a 60-year process. There were a group of local people who sat here and didn't have a school, and were elected as trustees 60 years ago, and had a vision of offering something that was really centered around the experience of kids. And when you fast forward 60 years to the celebration that we're going to be having in May, we're really hopeful that what we do is an echo of what that leadership intended at the very beginning.
So what will the formal celebration involve? Have you got to that stage yet as to what you're going to be doing, or is it still in the works?
Well, it is in the planning stages, but what we have are 30 very excited staff members and students who are involved in the planning of this day. It'll involve a mass, it'll involve representatives from provincial politics, and it will involve our Archbishop making another visit out, which is very exciting for us as a Catholic school division. And most importantly, it's going to have our trustees come forward and really talk about not only the accomplishments that we made over the last 60 years, but what the future holds. So it's a real opportunity for us to celebrate the past, but also build towards the future.
So will some of this or any of this be open to the public, or will this be something that is just an internal only celebration?
Well, I think we are inviting just over 3,000 people
Wow.
by just having our students. I know. So if you've ever planned a party for 3,000, it's quite an undertaking. We do hope to have some former trustees and perhaps former staff members, some of our former leadership who'll join us in that celebration. But when I talked to trustees about this at our board meeting in December, they said something really interesting, that we want to be there with the kids. We want to be living this with our students. And I think when we hear that, we know the sort of celebration that our trustees really expect, and to be honest, that our students today are really going to value.
It must be quite exciting too for the students that are involved in planning this, because this is a really big deal.
It is a big deal. It's not just the planning, but it's also there's logistics to it. Can we get 3,000 cupcakes, and can they all say 60 years on it? It's all of those little things, but it's also that broader picture of how we want to have people remember this, and what they can take away from it. And when we did our last 50th anniversary celebration, people walked away with a T-shirt or those sorts of things.
Right.
So it's those pieces of the puzzle and how the vision of our kids also has a voice in that. And it's coming along. It's really quite impressive.
Well, Nigel, thank you so much. I'm sure it's going to be a success, however it all works out with all the details, and we want to thank you so much for joining us, and we really look forward to see how this is going to play out in May.
Well, we really hope you folks will be there to join us, and certainly to film parts of it that are going to make it special for our kids and for our whole community here in Lloydminster.
We will definitely be there. Thank you so much again for joining us, Nigel.
You have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Scott Mitchell from Boom 103.5 with a look at what's happening in Lac-La-Biche County. Coming up on Saturday is the annual LibraryCon event over at the Stuart McPherson Public Library. This is going to go between 11 and 3:30. It's fun every single year. You can come on down. They're going to have a costume contest involved with this. There will be an introductory session to the Magic the Gathering game, as well as you can check out things like what they have on the Wii and the Switch, even some virtual reality stuff. So make sure you're heading on down to the Stuart McPherson branch coming up on Saturday. Details at llbcl.ca. Also coming up on Saturday is Plamont and Co-op's annual Sportsman Night. This is going to go at the Festival Center out in Plamondon, and you can head on down there. Entry fee is just $25, and they have various categories for you, including things like largest black bear and largest deer antler shed, as well as whitetail, typical and non-typical, and they have some fantastic prizes that you can win as part of it. And they've got tag soup this year, and there will also be a meal involved. And if you're just a spectator, it's just $10, including the meal. So make sure you're heading on out to the Festival Center for that. And coming up this weekend, Friday night at 7:30 is the home game for the Junior B Clippers. The Vegreville Rangers are going to be in town at the Bold Center Performance Arena, so go on down and cheer on the boys to victory. They're having an amazing season so far. If you have an event you would like us to feature on What's Happening, email the details 1 week in advance to scott@boom1035.com.